Did I just spend 20 minutes dragging an office desk outside to film a YouTube video? I did. It's a beautiful day. I just want to be outside. That's it. I don't want to be in an office. That's why I'm a hiking guide. I don't like being in offices. I like being outside. Today, I want to talk about my favorite backpacking brand to recommend to the first-time backpacker. It's super important that on your first couple of trips, you are at least relatively comfortable. Therefore, you enjoy the actual process of getting into the outdoors and maybe pursue more of that in the future. That's the whole point, is to get outside and enjoy yourself. If you are not enjoying yourself due to lack of comfort to an extreme level, you're just not going to have a great time. Type 2 fun, I think, is better saved for not the beginning, but maybe midway through your outdoor career. Basically, at this stage in the game, we all know most backpacking backpacks are sweet. They're all fine. They do a great job. They have a plethora of features. They're all relatively in the similar price range. Some are lighter, some are heavier. How do you really choose? How do you narrow it down? When you're brand new to backpacking, it's kind of overwhelming. There's so much gear choices to make right off the bat just to get out on your first trip. Unless you want to rent everything, you have to make a ton of uninformed decisions. So I'm here to try and help you be a bit more informed. These bags have come a long way in the last 15 to 20 years. And if you are pretty uncomfortable in a backpack, it's probably due to user error. And if you don't quite know how to set up a backpacking backpack, I'm going to link above a video of how I like to set up my clients on the trail when they're wearing their bag. Go ahead and check that out once you grab a backpack. If you already have one, just something to show you how to fit it to your body perfectly every time when you go out on the trail. And when it comes to a recommendation for a bag, I like to suggest in this channel companies that I truly believe in. Companies that I've used before in the past or consistently use currently. No one's paying me to say the things I'm going to say today. This is just a company I think is great. And it's definitely worth a look if it's your first ever backpacking backpack. And when it comes to being a new backpacker, having things that are extremely adjustable is a great advantage, because when you're new, you don't necessarily know exactly how to fit a bag to your body, what's going to work and what's not. After a few years in the backcountry, I realized these are the features that I really appreciate in a bag and I use the most. So I started with a very feature-rich bag and moved down to something a bit more streamlined and ultralight. Later on, I started using a hyperlight mountain gear, which had a fixed back panel, and everything was pretty much set up and sized to who I am and how I use a backpack. But when you're brand new or an intermediate backpacker, it's really nice to have something that's very adjustable. And that's why I commonly suggest to my clients an Osprey backpack. An Osprey was my first backpacking bag. And I bought this backpack right here about 10 years ago. And it's holding up and doing great. I have hundreds and hundreds of miles on that bag. And I used it for years, and I loved it. When I became a thru hiker, I switched to something a bit smaller and more streamlined and more lightweight, like my Hyperlight Mountain Gear Junction. I'm gonna link a review of that one above as well. And over the years, I've noticed that when the weight starts getting up there, having something really comfortable makes a huge difference. And now that I'm a hiking guide, I carry this backpack more often than not. This backpack is an 85 liter, and I consistently carry between 50 and 60 pounds in that backpack on a weekly basis. It's not my favorite way to go backpacking with that much weight, but it's led me to the point of knowing that Osprey makes the most comfortable backpacks on the market, hands down. They do an excellent job of carrying heavier loads, but even in their lighter range, they have really comfortable, really breathable bags that come with a lifetime guarantee, and they will fix your backpack for you free of charge if something goes wrong. Therefore, I think that this is the perfect brand to suggest to the new backpacker. When I put 60 pounds in this backpack and carry it for 5 days straight, it's definitely uncomfortable and it hurts my body ever so slightly. But in comparison to some of the older backpacks, I can't believe the value that I get out of that bag. Here's some of the pros that you get if you end up choosing an Osprey as your first bag. It has a lifetime guarantee. So that lifetime warranty, they'll fix, replace, or repair your backpack, whether you bought it in 1974 when the company was started or yesterday. Another pro is that you can get your hip belt heat molded to your body. Heat molded. You can go to an Osprey retailer in the store. They will bake your hip belt in a tiny oven and then mold it to your body. That's crazy. What kind of future is that? Another thing that I really appreciate about the backpack is it breathes very well. A lot of their backpacks have a mesh back panel. The mesh back panel lets air flow in and out freely from your back, letting some of that sweat, instead of dripping into your shorts, gets evaporated and cools you off like it's supposed to. Another great pro is that there's a compression strap for every single section of this bag. There's a front pocket so I can store my camp shoes. There's a giant entry point right here where I can get things in and out of the front of the bag. They have a floating lid, a sleeping bag compartment, a mesh pocket in the front, a lid that turns into a backpack. There's a day bag in this backpack. This lid comes off, turns into a day bag. They are very feature rich. There's really very few things that you could be left wanting from an Osprey backpack. Another great pro, and this is the main reason why I suggest it to any new backpacker, is that they are extraordinarily customizable. There are 2 sizes for each of these bags in every single one of their line. The smaller version and then the larger version. And from there, you can fine tune your fit by sliding the shoulder straps up and down the back panel and adjusting the hip belt as needed to fit your body. And this is the main reason why I suggest this to any new person, is that if your backpack's not fitting you right, you can change it without buying a new bag. Because it's very hard to determine when you're new exactly what you're gonna need to keep you comfortable on the trail, because you have very little experience to back up this guess at this stage. So when things are rubbing or not working well for your body, you can just make a change. And having that power is amazing. And then later on, when you buy your first ultralight pack, if you go that route, or another Osprey, or whatever it might be that you go, you can know exactly what works for you based on that backpack. You may never need to replace the backpack because it has a lifetime guarantee, and that's fine. But I think that that is an advantage that is worth its weight in gold, knowing how to perfectly dial in and fit your bag. One of the cons for these bags is they're expensive. This is not your cheap, low budget backpack that you can just grab on Amazon. These things are luxury bags with all the features, but they should last a lifetime, and they're extremely feature rich. So it's a great place to put your money if you are initially learning how to backpack. You want to be comfortable. Another con is that they're fairly heavy, but once again, they're so feature rich that I think that it's a great place to put some of that weight, and knowing that you're going to be very comfortable on the trail overall, I think also is worth its weight in gold. So those are my 2 cons. Those are the only 2 cons I could really come up with, given the fact that these things are guaranteed for life. They are so durable and so comfortable and have every single bell and whistle that you could imagine. I know what you're thinking. But Garrett, they make so many backpacks. Which one do I choose? Let's break it down. Let's make it simple and make it so you can pick the right backpack from Osprey for you. The most middle of the road solution is the Atmos or the Aura. That's the male-female version of their 50 and 65 liter backpacks. Those backpacks are the most middle of the road solution because they have a medium amount of volume that could fit and accommodate up to a 7-day trip for your average backpacker. That's the older version of it right there. That thing's about 10 years old. They've updated it a lot since then. It's an all mesh back panel. It has a floating lid. The floating lid can be removed, so you can reduce some of the volume if you'd like. It has a built-in rain cover. It has access points on the sides, through the top, and a sleeping bag compartment at the bottom. And it's extremely adjustable. That bag's about 4 pounds or so, but it's extremely comfortable, and that will fit most individuals. So that would be a good starting place to check out one of those. The next 2 packs I'm going to point out is the Exos and the Aya. That comes in a 58, a 48, and a 38 liter version of those bags. This is their lightest backpack. It is intended for those gram weenies who won't sacrifice comfort. It's good for through hiking, weekenders, people who have a lighter base weight overall. That would be my personal choice if I were to buy an Osprey backpack at this stage in the game, because it's a lighter version of the extremely comfortable backpacks that they have already put out. It also has a mesh back panel. The lid is not removable, but it does have a built-in rainfly and all of the features that you'd expect from an Osprey backpack at this stage. My last backpack I'm going to mention of theirs is my most used backpack. Unfortunately, it is the Ether and the Ariel. Those come in 60, 70, 85, and even 100 liter. These are the workhorses of the lineup. They are meant to carry extremely heavy loads. They are not light backpacks at all. I'm pretty sure this backpack weighs almost 5 pounds empty. Maybe it's almost 6. I'll throw that up. It's a heavy boy right there, but it gets the job done. I use that backpack more than any other backpack in my life at this stage because of my guiding job. Consistently throwing 50 to 60 pounds in that backpack, and that's what led me down this path in the first place of why Osprey is the most comfortable bag on the market. Because carrying 60 pounds in that backpack feels relatively good, all things considered, because most people shouldn't be carrying 60 pounds anywhere, ever, for any reason. But since I do that all the time for my job, I've realized the pinnacle of comfort in the backpacking world at this stage in the game is an Osprey. That backpack is extremely feature rich, just like the rest of the lineup, but it's not for your average user. It is for someone who is carrying heavy and large loads. If you're using a 100 liter backpack, you're probably on some type of weird expedition. And this backpack's not necessarily for everybody. But it once again has all of the features of an Osprey backpack. Built-in rainfly, sleeping bag compartment, exterior access pockets. The lid's enormous. I put all my personal items just in the lid alone when I'm out guiding, and put the rest of the stuff for the trip in the main compartment. It's a huge, heavy hauling backpack right there. Cool, there you have it. Those are my suggestions. I love Osprey backpacks. I think they make great packs. Their lifetime guarantee is great. It's a great addition to gear at this stage, and they are setting the standard for the most comfortable backpacks on the market easily. Pick one of those 3 backpacks, the one that suits your needs the most. Now you can get out there and hike your own hike in comfort. And I link these below to backcountry.com. If you're new to backcountry, you get 15% off your first order. Go ahead and use that link below, get your 15% off, and save some cash on these relatively expensive backpacks that you can hike your own hike in comfort. So thanks for checking it out. Happy trails.